Good morning and welcome to the wonderful world of Des Moines. Now just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Today, we are making meatloaf.
So this is a very simple recipe. The first thing I'd like you to do, Craig, is preheat the oven to 400 degrees.
Bake.
Mm-hmm.
Bake. 350.
Now do 400. 400. And then start. All right, so we've got that. Craig's got to let eggs in. Or one of the cats anyway. Okay, so we've got the oven preheating. Our ingredients are 2 pounds of 80% lean ground beef. We have Sloppy Joe sauce in a can. We usually use the one from Aldi, but they were out of it. So we got the Great Value brand. And we also got a can of Manwich for the topping of the meatloaf. I think this one tastes better. It's a little sweeter. I think it will taste better in the meatloaf. We also have Italian breadcrumbs and some minced onion and 2 eggs. So first of all, Craig, I need you to put the ground beef into the mixer. I like to make it in the mixer because I don't like having to squish it with my hands. And the mixer works very well.
I wonder what the ground beef tastes like.
No, don't try it. Don't try raw meat.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Cooking makes Craig hungry.
But I can't help it when I eat. Don't eat the raw meat.
No, don't eat the raw meat. You won't like it.
Bad.
It'll be worse than that cheese was.
The cheese.
Yeah, remember that cheese you said tasted like poison?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, now you can add that can of Sloppy Joe sauce. Yes, you can taste the sauce. It's okay. Okay, now I need you to add 1 cup of the Italian breadcrumbs and make sure you get the cup full.
Oops.
That's okay. Put a little more in there. Okay. Craig has to taste everything. Go ahead and pour it in. And then you will add the 2 eggs. But why don't we break them in the bowl first to make sure we don't get any shell in it, because you won't like it if there's shell in it.
Wait.
Okay, let's look and see. I don't see any shell, so very good. So go ahead and pour that into the mixing bowl. And our last ingredient, which is one of my favorite ingredients, is the minced onion. So I want you to take off the cap and fill the cap with minced onions. Yeah, just fill it all the way up. Yep, and then just pour that in. I don't have any exact amount. If you really like onions, add more onions. What's going on? Okay. Now. Okay, we've got to start the mixer. I'll help you with getting the mixing bowl down. Okay, can you push it down? Push the top down. All right, then. Okay.
No.
It's okay.
Oh dear.
It's okay. We'll just clean that up. I meant to tell you to start slow. And now we're just going to mix it until it looks all mixed together. We'll give it a minute or so. And the next step will be, hey Craig, do you want to put, hey, do you want to spray the pan with the cooking spray?
How's that?
Looks good. All right, now we'll check it out. You want to pull up on it? Okay. Why don't you get me a spatula?
Spatula.
Here's what it looks like in here. It looks like it's mixed up nice and having a little trouble there. Okay, now yes, just get that off of that spatula.
Let me taste this.
No, don't taste it. You can't taste it until it's cooked. You can't eat raw meat.
I know. Sorry.
It's okay. I mean, people do have their steaks and hamburgers cooked rare, but I just don't think you'll like it.
Right, you're right.
We've got the meatloaf in the pan. Do you think you can shape it into a loaf with your hands? Yeah, I might have to help with that one. We shaped it into a loaf. Some people might make theirs in a bread pan, which is perfectly fine, a loaf pan. I started making it in a casserole dish like this so that all the grease wasn't trapped in. So now we just have to put it in the oven, Craig.
Okay,
And we will bake it for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, we'll be back to put the sauce on top of the meatloaf, which is also made from a can of manwich sauce. All right, so now we should mix up the potatoes, and I'll get out some corn, okay? So we have our corn thawing out in this bowl. I froze some corn last year, and that's what we're having with our meatloaf, and some instant potatoes. Rarely do I make real potatoes, except maybe on a holiday, because we like these, and it's much easier. So the first step, Craig, is to spray that pan with the butter spray. And empty this pouch into that pan, and then we need 2 cups of water. Oh, we need some help. Can you cut it with a scissor?
A small scissors.
Is that the only one that was in there? Oh, I think you're getting it though. There we go. Just pour that in there. Maybe we should add our other one. That doesn't look like very much in that pan. So add that second bag along with it. And then we're going to need 4 cups of water. And I think I actually have a measuring cup that is 4 cups. Hold on. Oop.
Oh, no,
That's okay.
Messy.
It's okay. We'll just get a towel and wipe it up. All right. And I think we need to add some butter, and then we'll put those in the oven. Next, we take some slices of butter and just stick it down in, just like that. Oh, okay, that doesn't really matter. If we do this, then it gets more down into the potatoes. Okay, now we're going to get a piece of foil, and we will cover this. Right now, we just stick that in the meatloaf in the oven with the meatloaf, and we'll keep checking on it. But it usually works out pretty good. And as soon as the corn thaws out a little bit, I'll make it on the stovetop. And there's our corn right there. And Craig, he's starving. All he can think about is that delicious meatloaf, right?
Yep.
All right, now it's time to make the topping for the meatloaf. So you will need 1 can of manwich. Pour it into the bowl, Craig. This is an exact recipe. I kind of made it up from something that I made years ago, and I like it on top of the meatloaf. Okay, now you will get some brown sugar in that, and you don't have to make it full. And you can put in as much,
How's
or
that?
I think that might be a little too much here. Okay, now pour that in. That's okay. It's making Craig ravenously hungry. Okay, and now let's see. We'll squirt some mustard in there. That looks good. That's enough. That's enough. Okay. And now when you get a fork in, we'll mix it up with the fork.
One.
And just mix that up, and it makes kind of a sweet and tangy sauce for the top of the meatloaf. I like to make my meatloaf well done, so this is nice to soften up the top of the meatloaf a little bit and add some extra flavor. Craig is going to pour that over the top of our meatloaf. And then we'll get a spoon and make sure we cover the whole top with the sauce. It smells so good in here. And there's our potatoes. Probably need to just mix those up a little bit, and then we'll put these back on the warmer. Okay, I think that's probably good. And now we put it back into the oven for 15 minutes. Craig's having his favorite meal. I'll turn this around so they can see the top of the meatloaf. That's how it looks when it's all done. Craig, is this your favorite meal that we make?
Yum.
That's what I thought. Was it worth the wait?
Yeah.
Okay. Today is Wednesday, August
30th.
Yes. Today, we had kind of a quiet day today. We stayed home, right?
Yep.
We made some meatloaf and some instant potatoes and some corn for supper. And how was supper?
It was scrumdiddlyumptious.
Yeah, Craig could hardly wait. And how many days till Florida?
16.
Yes. Only 16 more days, folks. And then tonight, we need to write some thank you cards.
Yep. What about the questions?
Okay.
We forgot the questions.
And Craig, okay, let's do some questions. Do you like Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, back in my days, I watched The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's no good.
Is that what he says?
Yep.
Do you like 7-Up?
Yep.
Do you like Lay's chips?
Yep.
What's your favorite Lay's chips?
Sour cream and onion.
Have you seen Checkered Past?
No.
Why is Applebee's your favorite restaurant?
Because at the Clubhouse Grill.
Yeah, that's your favorite, isn't it?
Yep.
You've always liked going to Applebee's.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a thought for the day?
Dreams.
What about dreams?
Dreams are to figure out where we want to go.
Oh, yeah. What is your dream?
Of going to Universal Studios Florida on my birthday.
Yeah, I think that dream's going to come true.
Yep. Baby versus first bank heist. Baby versus Bank Heist by John Wally. Illustrated by Stephen Collins. Baby Frank loved animals and yet he could get his mom and dad to understand how much he liked a pet. It didn't matter what it was, a dog, a cat, or a rabbit. If Frank saw fur while out on walks, he lunged and tried to grab it. And though each night at Storytime, young Frank would always choose, involving birds and beasts from ducks to kangaroos. His parents would not change their minds. His mom said, "You're not ready." "And they cost too much," said Dad. "Be happy with your teddy." Frank tried to think of all the ways a pet could be untamed. He was sure that he could steal one, but the problem still remained of how he was supposed to find the money he would need to buy him a newfound furry friend in his betting bull and feed. Out shopping with his mom one day, the answer came to Frank. There really is no other choice. I'll have to rob a bank. With Mom stuck waiting in line, he knew the time was right. So Frank put on a bandit mask and disappeared from sight. Past every camera, gate and guard the baby clown scene, there were no bars or laser beams. He couldn't fit between. Quick as a flash, he found the vault and scooped up the loot. He swiftly stuffed the bills and coins inside his onesie suit. Then back to Mom he scampered and sat down without a fuss. Nobody tried to stop him as he went home on the bus. Later that night, Frank crept downstairs and turned on the computer. He started searching animals to check which ones were cuter. He knew he wanted something small, but not a boring mouse, so it was that Frank received a meerkat at his house. He snuck his pet up to his room and kept it out of sight, and practiced looking after her to show he'd do it right. The meerkat was a great success, and little Frank adored. But pretty soon, he wanted more. Why not? He could afford it. First a dog, and then a pig, 2 aardvarks and a cat were smuggled up into his room. He should have stopped at that. There were leopards in the cupboards and a beaver in the bath. And Frank was really struggling to hide his new giraffe. It all went wrong that afternoon when Mom called out and said, "Don't be alarmed, I just found a rhino in our shed." It took her some detective work to find out Frank's deceit, stack of bills, abandoned masks, and piles of name receipts. Mom showed her the clues to Dad and said it was her fire belief. Our baby wanted pets so much, he was turned into a thief. Once Frank could see how sad they were, he quickly understood that stealing things were very wrong. From now on, he'd be good. Frank's parents took him to the bank and told him to the theft. The bank asked for their money, but there wasn't any left. The family went home to their pets and wondered what to do, until at last Dad had a thought. Let's open up a zoo. By selling tickets at the store, they soon began to save. Frank tried his best to lend a hand and showed he could behave. He served his time without a doubt, and though still on all fours, it didn't stop cleaning up, and even leading chores. At night he lied down with his pets and gazed up at the stars. Baby Frank had got his way. He was happy behind bars. The end. And this is Craig A. Vaver saying, keep on having a great day and we'll see you real soon.
How about you, Livy? Can you say keep on having a great day?
Keep having a great day.
Very good.